t'es prête, rends les choses faciles
et sèche-moi ces larmes de crocodile.
What's up, you guys? Welcome back to another one. If you're new to the channel, I am Gold Pony. I do new car, truck, SUV reviews on YouTube, and today we're in the brand new 2026 Hyundai Palisade, courtesy of Jack G and Volvo Hyundai in York, PA. For more information on their inventory, please feel free to check out the link in the description box below. So I am in this one today because this is the start of this second generation Palisade. It's been completely redesigned, obviously, for 2026. It's grown slightly, has a slightly larger wheelbase, slightly bigger exterior dimensions as well, and you still get America's best warranty, being 5 years, 60,000 mile bumper to bumper, 10 years, 100,000 miles on the powertrain, so you always gotta love that. But ultimately in this video, we will be testing out and going over everything about this one, from acceleration to braking, steering feel, ride quality, sound system, exhaust clip, all that fun stuff. So having said all of that, what do you guys say? Let's just go ahead and jump right into it. And as always, let's start with pricing. And so as you can imagine, there are several different trim levels for the 2026 Palisade. You got the SE starting at $40,430, SEL for $42,935, SEL Convenience for $44,365, SEL Premium for $46,295, Limited for $50,765, a new trim level being the XRT Pro all-wheel drive. That one goes for $50,865, and lastly, the Calligraphy being the one we are in today. That one goes for $55,555. And so all of those prices but the XRT Pro, of course, come standard with front wheel drive. If you wanted to add all-wheel drive, you can do that. Simply add $2,220 to any of those prices. But to make things simpler, regardless of the trim level that you go with, the power plant on the Palisade is going to be the same. Powering the beast is a 3.5 liter naturally aspirated V6 that puts out 287 horsepower at 5,800 RPM, 260 pound-feet of torque coming in at 5,000 RPM, power sent to front wheels or all wheels through an 8-speed automatic with paddle shifters. I just noticed that we got silver paddle shifters, so of course we'll be testing those out in a little bit here. But MPG numbers are going to come at 19 in the city, 26 on the highway for the front wheel drive, 18 city, 24 then on the highway for the all-wheel drive, taking regular unleaded fuel. All right, so as we're pulling up to this red light right now, I did want to first mention before we do the paddle shifter test, the drive modes, of course. And so the drive mode button is located in a new location. It's just to the left of these center air vents here. It's a toggle switch, essentially. Actually, if you press that drive mode button, you can select different terrain modes, and that's for the all-wheel drive configuration. But if you get the front wheel drive, you don't get the different terrain modes, you just get the normal drive modes. But toggle switch will give you eco, normal, sport, and my drive, and then terrain modes are going to give you snow, mud, and sand, essentially adjusting things like the shift points, the throttle response, the steering sensitivity, things like that. So that's pretty darn cool. But now having got all of that out of the way, let's go ahead and let's put the paddle shifters here to the test first, and let's see how quickly these paddle shifters are going to react for us here. All right, so I found her straight away here. We got it in sport driving mode. I don't think it's gonna let me actually, I think it might shift for me, but we'll see. All right, holding the gear. Ooh, that's a delay. All right, definitely a delay there. I probably wouldn't use the paddle shifters at all on the Palisade, at least for having fun. You could use them to do a little bit of engine braking or something like that. If it were to be snowing out, you're going down a mountain, just use the paddle shifters to downshift a little bit, do a little bit of engine braking, so you're less likely to slide off the road or something like that. But having said that, there is a pretty substantial delay to them, so I personally would not use them. But anyways, let's go ahead and give back full control to the Palisade here. I'm just going to tap this forward one more time into drive, and we got back full control. So let me go ahead and find one more straightaway now with the car having full control, and let's see how quickly we can get our new 2026 Palisade here up to speed. And so before we do this acceleration test, I did want to mention to you guys, I did get a new partnership with a sunglass company, a designer sunglass company called James Oro. They are super heavy duty designer sunglasses. I absolutely love them, and you get a 1-year warranty with them as well, which is pretty sticking cool. But anyways, found her straightaway here in 3, 2, 1, go! Downhill. That's not bad. Yeah, you're not going to have any issues emerging onto the highway. Not quite as quick as the Ioniq 9 I just got done driving, but it certainly gets the job done. That's the right engine for the Palisade, I will say that. And on top of that, I do believe there's a hybrid coming in the near future, so be on the lookout for that review. I'll definitely try to get that one for you guys, but this is just a review on the naturally aspirated V6 Palisade, which is probably what most people are going to end up getting. But this one does come available with the hybrid now. Not going to be touching on it in this video. That is a separate review, but plenty of an acceleration. And to go along with that acceleration, as always, braking is equally important. And so up front, you will find 13.6-inch ventilated front discs. In the back, 12.8-inch solid rear discs. As far as braking feel goes, 100% on the softer side of things, no doubt about that. Now, it's to be expected in a 3-row SUV like the Palisade. It's like my 3-row Santa Fe as well, which, by the way, I've had for 8 years now. That also has a naturally aspirated V6. Pretty darn good reliability so far, so that's pretty cool. And the cool thing is, even if you didn't have good reliability, it's warranted for 10 years or 100,000 miles on the engine and transmissions, things like that. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, braking's a little bit on the softer side. I do always say that I wish that they firmed up that braking feel a little bit, just to give it a little more emotion, maybe like the Mazda CX-70 or CX-90 or something like that. But it is what it is, but it's fine for what the vehicle is, I'll put it that way. But then touching on suspension and handling, you will get an independent strut type front suspension, independent multi-link rear suspension, front and rear stabilizer bars. Did want to mention though, with that new trim level, the XRT Pro, you also get a lifted suspension only with that trim level, and that gives you an extra inch of ground clearance. And of course, you got the terrain modes with the all-wheel drive setup, like I mentioned. But overall, as far as ride quality goes, it's perfectly fine in my short little test drive here today. Not quite as smooth as the Ioniq 9 I just got done driving, because that one comes with an adaptive damping suspension. But even without it, it's still a pretty darn smooth ride. I probably should get it out of sport driving though. Let me put it back to normal real quick. It's still a pretty darn smooth ride. Definitely a vehicle I would easily take on a road trip to Ocean City, Maryland, which is where I just got back from. So yeah, that was fun, but plenty of a perfectly fine ride for me. Then touching on steering feel, it's definitely on the looser side of things. Now, having said that, the drive mode that you put it in does adjust that steering feel. So if you like a heavier feel to it, you can either put it in my mode and tailor that steering feel to a heavier feel, or you can put it in sport driving mode. That's also going to make it a heavier feel for you. Having said that, it's something for everybody, so it's all good there. Touching on cabin noise, I got the AC going on right now because it's kind of hot out today, but other than that, it's been a pretty darn serene cabin, so I don't have any issues there either. Definitely some acoustic laminated glass going on in this one. Touching on rear visibility, I actually have my rear camera mirror on right now, so that is stinking cool. So essentially, if you pack the cargo area up to the very top of the ceiling here, if you're going on a road trip to Ocean City or any kind of ocean, you don't have any visibility throughout your rear view mirror. So that's where the rear camera mirror comes in, because it's mounted on the outside, so you can still see exactly who or what is behind you through that rear camera mirror. So that's why they put it there. Isn't that clever? Let me actually go ahead and flip that off. I can still see perfectly fine on my rear view mirror there. It's a plenty big mirror in the back, so not gonna have any issues there. Rain sensing windshield wipers do come standard, so whenever this thing detects any kind of mist or rainfall, it's gonna automatically turn on those windshield wipers. Touching on forward visibility a little bit. Also with forward visibility though, I'm looking at a head-up display right now. It's giving me my speed limit, and safety features up on there as well. And that is gonna be had with the calligraphy trim level, I know, at least, because that's a trim level that we have with us here today. But that pretty much rounds out the performance segment of this review, you guys. Let's now go ahead and take a look at the exterior of our brand new 2026 Hyundai Palisade. All right, so here she is, you guys, the new 2026 Hyundai Palisade, again, completely redesigned for the 2026 model year. But as always, let's go ahead and start with where this one is made. Taking a look at the VIN, first character is the letter K, indicating that the new Palisade is built and assembled in Korea. You gotta love it. But starting up front, you do have LED headlights with LED daytime running lights. You get the automatic feature with those. You also get automatic high beams. So if you have your high beams on at night, it senses a vehicle coming in the opposite direction. It's gonna automatically dim them back to low beams. Then when that vehicle is gone, it's gonna automatically bounce it back up to high beams for you there. Getting up a little closer here, you have a dark chrome front grille. That definitely looks good as well. In case you're curious, the headlights are gonna be these two little things right here, kind of right there as I'm showing to you guys. LED daytime running lights are going to be on this side, and these little things at the very bottom, they look like little cutouts. That's going to be for the active grille shutters. So they're going to open and close dependent upon the engine cooling that is needed at any given time. That's something that I first saw in BMW, and now a lot of other manufacturers are starting to do that as well, like the Palisade here. So that's pretty cool. But that pretty much rounds out the front end. Let me know what you guys think of the design in the comments below. Let's now go ahead and swing around to the side. All right, so now since we are around to the the side of this one, starting all the way to the top. Silver roof rails coming standard. You also have that silver upper window trim that kind of leads into the D pillar, that silver accent piece on the very back end of the Palisade. That's a nice little design statement there. Rear privacy glass does come standard. Taking a look at the side mirrors, they are body colored power adjustable side mirrors. They will actually be heated with LED integrated turret signals. All that comes standard as well. Little silver side skirts to match with the silver accenting on the upper portion of the vehicle. That looks good as well. And then you have a little bit of body sculpting over the fenders, a little bit less pronounced on an all black vehicle, but it's definitely an interesting design cue that kind of mirrors the Ioniq 9 a little bit there. Then taking a look down at the wheel setup, they're essentially going to differ between the trim levels, ranging from 18 to 21 inches in design, depending upon the trim level you go with. But this is what the calligraphy wheels look like, and I think they look pretty darn good. But that pretty much rounds out the side profile. Let's now go ahead and swing around to the back. All right, so but now since we are around to the back of the Palisade, all the way to the top, you will find a body-colored shark fin antenna. Just below that, rear spoiler, and you guys can see that rear camera as well for the rear camera mirror there. That is pretty cool. If you're wondering where the rear window wiper is, it's tucked away underneath of the spoiler, kind of like the Tahoe and Suburban do. You got that Palisade lettering spelled out horizontally. LED taillights do come standard as well. If you wanted to tow with the Palisade, I'm gonna get down a little lower here. Towing capacity is actually gonna come in at 5,000 pounds even, in case you're curious about that. And then tucked away under it all on the passenger side there, you will find a single exhaust outlet. So having said that, I do believe you guys know what we have to do next here. As always, here is that exhaust clip. So now since we are around to the back of the Palisade, when it comes to opening that rear lift gate, there is a button on this egg-shaped key, there is a button on the lift gate itself, and there is a button by the driver's side left knee then as well. And it's pretty cool because it is power, it's a power lift gate, but once opened up, cargo capacity comes in at 19.1 cubic feet. If that was not enough space, of course, the third row does fold down, and in our calligraphy that we have with us here today, all those buttons to fold down the rear seats are all located in the cargo area. So once that third row is folded down, that's going to bump that up to 43.6 cubic feet. Then with all rows folded, 86.7 cubic feet. So for comparison's sake, for the first generation Palisade or last year's model, 86.4. So it's just slightly bigger, honestly, when it comes to cargo capacity than last year. So not a huge difference there. You know what I wish the Palisade would have done, and maybe they'll make a new SUV for this, but I really want a Hyundai competitor to like the Toyota Grand Highlander, Volkswagen Atlas, the Chevy Traverse, something with right around 100 cubic feet of cargo space. I know this is probably the sweet spot for the size, but I think a little bit bigger of an SUV would do really well with Hyundai and Kia for that matter. But anyways, plenty of space back there. You do have some grocery bag hooks back there, and then if you were to lift up underneath of that cargo floor, there actually is in-floor storage. If you were wondering if there's a spare tire, there is. That's located up underneath of the Palisade, right next to the exhaust. That's where that's located. But then making our way up to the third row legroom, that is going to come in at 31.4 inches. For reference, I'm an even 6 feet tall. This is how much space I had in the third row there. You can move the second row up a little bit if you did need a little more space, but it's kind of, it's not the most space, but it gets the job done, I suppose. For comparison's sake, if Hyundai did have a larger 3-row SUV like the Grand Highlander comes in at 33.5 inches. But anywho, the other thing I wanted to mention for those third row passengers though is they do have cup holders back there. There's rear ventilation all the way through all of the rows there. They do have a view of the sky a little bit with this panoramic sunroof specifically for the second and third row passengers. There's also USB charging ports on both sides in the third row, and my favorite part, heated third row seats. That's unheard of. You never get that. So pretty stinking cool. But anyways, then making our way up to the second row legroom, that comes in at up to 43 inches, depending upon the configuration that you go with. But you can either get bench seating for the second row passengers, or captain's chairs is available both ways. We got the captain's chairs with us here today. Heated second row is available on the SEL premium trim level and up. Obviously, if we have heated third row seats, we also have the heated second row seats, so that's pretty cool. There is a little bit of like cargo or trash bin located just in front of the second row passengers there as well. I thought that was pretty cool. And as far as the USB charging ports, they're located on the back side of the front seats. And that's so that the cords and cables don't get in the way of passengers coming in and out of the second and third row. So that makes sense. And rear window sunshades. I don't want to forget to mention that. They are stinking cool back there as well. But then make your way up to the front seats. Manually adjustable front seats do come standard. Power adjustable front seats, of course, are available. Cloth seating is going to come with that SE trim level. However, power adjustable heated front seats are going to come on the SEL trim level and up. Ventilated front seats, SEL premium trim level and up. Massaging front seats for the calligraphy. That is pretty cool. Also, power side bolsters for our calligraphy. I'm just playing around with the seats now. That is intense. You got power thigh extensions for our calligraphy here with us here today as well. That's so cool. Anyways, with all of these different adjustments in our calligraphy, at least with us here today, seats are 100% perfectly fine. And you got the calligraphy etched into the headrest as well. Fancy. But now let's go ahead and take a look at the steering wheel. It is tilt and telescoping, and it's going to be leather wrapped. It is heated for the SEL premium trim level and up, and it looks like it may be two-toned if we went with a different color theme, because it just looks like it's set up that way. Then make our way to the startup. Let me start by showing you guys this egg-shaped key with the H Hyundai logo found on the side of it there. You got lock, unlock, remote start button is the hold button, of course, and then the buttons on the side of the key, that's going to be for the rear lift gate and the smart park as well. So that's to pull your car in and out of a parking spot if somebody parks too close to you. I always love that feature, honestly, but that's something Hyundai always likes to do. But it is all keyless entry with a push button start, so all I'm going to do here is simply put my foot on the brake and press that silver engine start button, which is located on the actual shifter, believe it or not. So a little bit different there. But then once started up, when it comes to the gauge cluster, it is a 12.3-inch digital gauge cluster. It is going to adjust slightly when it comes to like the look when you adjust the drive mode. So if I put it in eco, it's going to give me a bunch of like cyan colors. If I put it in sport, it's going to give me red. A bunch of different colors you can check out up there. Wouldn't have minded if there was a bit more customization though, but overall gauges look good. You got outside temperature, speed limit recognition, trip A, trip B, of course, and pretty much everything you could possibly want up there. How many miles you have left until you hit empty, which is 365 right now. That's plenty fine. But now let's go ahead and make our way to overall interior quality though. A panoramic sunroof is going to be available. We got it with us here today, so that's pretty stinking cool. And actually there's two buttons for it. There's one for the front sunroof, and then there's one for the rear sunroof as well that I'm opening right now. So that's easy. Home link controls for up to 3 different garage doors found in the bottom portion of that frameless rear view mirror. You got a wireless phone charger just to the left of the cup holders up here. Got 64 colors of ambient lighting as well. And I'm sure that's going to illuminate quite nicely when it's not super bright out like it is today. So just underneath of the cup holders and everything, there's a massive space right there. Probably if you're a girl to put your purse down there. A 12-volt power outlet down there as well. There really is a ton of space down there. I'm very impressed about that. A lot of really nice texturized finishes like surrounding the cup holders here that looks like it actually might be like a wood trim. There's a nice little design to that. Just behind that, there's the center armrest, decent amount of space in there. I do like the silver buttons to the power window buttons here found on the doors, because a lot of times they'll just be finished in a matte black on a lot of competitors, so I do like that finish as well. Oh, and I don't want to forget, there is a suede headliner, a microfiber headliner. That looks really, really good, and it feels really, really good too. So this thing's fancy. Oh, and the aluminum speaker covers from the Bose sound system. We'll test out that sound system here in a second, but anyways, let's go ahead and make our way to the infotainment screen. It's a 12.3-inch infotainment screen. It is a touch screen, by the way, and Bluetooth and audio streaming coming standard. You have wireless Android Auto, Apple CarPlay up there. Factory navigation system also coming standard. There's a voice memo system. You can record your voice and play it back at a later date. There's all your different seat buttons. Let me go, oh, I just turned on the heated seat button for the rear passengers. There's seat adjustments up there. There's dash cam adjustments. That's pretty cool. There's weather, there's sports. There's a lot of different stuff you can play around with on this car, but also, of course, you got your radio information. So when it comes to the sound systems, here's the breakdown. 8 speakers for the SE, SEL, SEL Convenience, and SEL Premium. And then you get a 14-speaker Bose sound system for the new XRT Pro, the Limited, and the Calligraphy. So, having said that, what do you guys say? Let's go ahead and turn on the radio. Let's see what we got playing today, and let's test out the clarity of this one. King and Country, you gotta love it. Also, great movie to go along with that song, but yeah, plenty good sound system. That sound system was brilliant, dude. And I've had Bose sound systems in my cars before. They've never failed me. They're extremely reputable company. Aluminum speaker covers, big perk as well. Tons of bass, plenty of clarity. That's a banging sound system. Not a Bang & Olufsen, a banging sound system for for what this vehicle is for sure. But anyways, last thing I wanted to mention to you guys on the infotainment screen is when you do put the Palisade in reverse, very high definition rear view camera coming standard. You also get that surround view monitor there to the right as well, giving you the bird's eye view, which is always is going to lead us into safety. And by the way, that 360-degree monitor camera, that's going to be for the SEL premium trim level and up. But first thing I want to mention with safety is it's not yet rated by IIHS. This vehicle literally just came out. Hyundai didn't even put the information on their website yet, but front side curtain airbags do come standard, driver's knee airbag as well. In the back, you got rear side impact airbags, also latch, aka lower anchors and tethers to children for the rear car seats, rear child door locks, tire pressure monitoring system, but also coming standard, blind spot monitoring system with rear cross traffic alert. There's lane keep assist, lane departure warning, forward collision mitigation, front and rear parking sensors, driver attention monitoring system, and adaptive cruise control with stop and go, which is a brilliant system on any Hyundai or Kia or Genesis. But overall, when it comes to my final thoughts, brilliant warranty. I'm gonna start by saying that you can't beat a 10-year 100,000 mile powertrain warranty. Very luxurious cabin, at least in our calligraphy that we have with us here today. We got the wood trim, we got the suede headliner, the frameless rear view mirror with home link. A lot of very nice finishes in here. Very stately appearance. I'm going to describe it as that when it comes to exterior now. I mean, the last generation looked really good. It still does, but it's very stately in this thing now. It looks more rich. I don't know, I'll just put it that way. As far as the sweet spot goes, I would personally probably go with the SEL Premium. I feel like that's kind of the sweet spot for the new Palisade here, just because you get the ventilated front seats, the heated rear seats, the heated steering wheel, the 360-degree camera there. It's kind of a really good spot, a good value trim level, I guess you could say. The only thing still in the back of my mind, I was thinking Hyundai was gonna do it with the new Palisade, but they didn't. I wish it was a little bit bigger. I need a competitor from Hyundai to kind of compete with the Grand Highlander and the Traverse and the Volkswagen Atlas. I think that would be so cool. Hyundai, if you're watching this, and I know you watch my videos from time to time, do that. It doesn't have to be the Palisade. Maybe you could, or maybe you could just make an entirely new SUV that competes with those, because I think it would crush it, at least here in the US, because we like big vehicles. But anyways, would you guys buy a Palisade? Would you guys buy this Palisade? Put it in the comments section below. I gotta calm down. That's about it for this one, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Feel free to follow me on social media stuff if you wanted to see what's coming next on the channel before it gets to YouTube. Be sure to check out the YouTube shopping just below the video if you're interested in James Oro sunglasses. They got a ton of different selections. Also, be sure to hit the subscribe with the bell notification button if you're into new car reviews. That is what I've been doing here for 11 years now. Do appreciate you guys watching more than you know, and I will see you guys all in the next video. Stay on.